Welcome everyone to Power Hour with Mel and Rebecca. I feel like Mel, I need to use one of my nicknames, Mel and Bex.
Mel and Bex. I love it. Mel and Beck.
Welcome.
Mel Beck. Shall we introduce wine to this?
You can call us Mel Beck. We get better with age and experience. Oh yeah.
We have to change our whole logo up. Did you
Darn
just see
it.
that? There's like this crazy lightning going on right now.
Oh, I missed it. I looked away.
Oh.
Just ambiance. It adds to the effects. It's Power Hour. There's like a flash of electricity.
And thunder.
So if you cut out, then that'll be it for today.
I don't know why. Yeah.
I'll just carry on myself, but nobody wants to hear me and my thoughts.
Oh man.
So we already had our preliminary sort of power hour. We actually spent more than an hour, I think, together, and now we're just going to truncate it down. But we had a lot of great talks earlier. What do you want to chat about first?
Well, one of I guess the biggest thing that was kind of like a little bit of it came out of nowhere to us earlier was talking about the ROI of hiring a social media or digital marketing company. So I saw a post that said the ROI in social media that nobody talks about. And one of the first slides mentioned showing up without showing up. So to give some context too, it's talking about when a company hires a digital marketing company, a social media manager, whatever you want to call it, someone that's going to handle their social or digital presence. They basically get to show up online without actually doing the work, without showing up, right?
Yeah.
So I thought that was an interesting perspective, because I was like, that makes so much sense. A lot of clients, they're like, sometimes one of the first things they say, maybe sometimes in like the first month, is where's my ROI? Where's my return on investment? And I totally get it. I'm a business owner too. I look for the ROI in multiple ways. But I didn't think about using time and skill, I guess, as a currency. So I thought that was interesting.
Time is a huge currency. From the perspective of having a team, I want to know what's the ROI of the team member, especially a new team member, so I can understand too from the client's perspective. They want to see results, right? They want to see progress. And if it's not tangible in the form of bills, thinking of, does your money jiggle, jiggle, or does it fold, right? They want to see it fold. They want to see the actual results, and metrics, especially with organic social media, are harder to understand, especially if you don't understand digital marketing, the big picture of it, which full circle comes back to what you're saying, that if you don't have either the time or the experience and the know-how, or both, to do your own digital marketing, then that is part of the ROI, is us being able to strategize and execute for you, and you're placing that in other people's hands. But I understand wanting to see results too, and I think it's a larger conversation about what ROI is and what it is for marketing. And I think it also boils down to the understanding that marketing actually isn't an asset in that way. You have marketing assets, but marketing is an investment. And you have to understand that you're always going to be investing time and money, and you're choosing to invest more money rather than more of your time.
When you hire a company.
Yeah. You still have to put in some time, right? We talk with clients about the level of commitment you want to have in your marketing. And I think that your success is still going to be a direct result of your involvement, but it's the different kind of involvement. As leaders of a company and teams, we're involved in the team. The success of the team is going to be a result of our involvement in the team. It doesn't mean that we're executing on all the work. So conversely, on the client side, we need the clients to still be involved and giving direction. It doesn't mean that we want them to come up with all the ideas, but we need them to give the direction so we can head in the right direction with them. And then our marketing goals and performance is aligned with their business goals, and we're supporting their business goals. So we have to be a team. Somebody recently said to me, well, we're looking for outsourcing, and we're so much more than that.
100%. If you see me muting, it's just because there's crazy thunder here. So I don't want it to get into the way of what you're saying, but yeah, I agree 100%. And let's equate it to other types of investments, right? So when someone invests into a home, that's an investment, right? And it's like an asset and a liability at the same time.
Right.
When someone invests into the stock market, that's an investment. And so if we're thinking of hiring a marketing company or investing into marketing in general as an investment, because you could be doing that by hiring someone, you could be doing that by printing materials out, you can be doing that by running advertisements, all that, those marketing dollars, that marketing budget. Ultimately, those investments, how do you measure the return on investments, everything else, and how long does it take? You look at yes, sometimes you can look at a stock and see if it went up over 30 days. But if you're into stocks that way, then you're not really an investor. You're just kind of playing around. And so very similarly, we're looking for that long-term social media presence that's going to be with you, essentially forever. People can find stuff online. I say this all the time. I don't know if I said it last week, but I'm going to say it again. We are essentially, or a marketing company, or your social media presence is essentially your handshake online. So the same handshake that you do business with on a daily basis is the same handshake that now you have online, but probably even more. We had a client that stayed with us, the first year, and they were so happy. They were excited. The first year with us went well. And then coming towards the end of their contract, they were looking to bring the marketing in-house. Their office manager had asked them for some more responsibility. She had a little bit of social media knowledge, and we had already built the basis, and we were like, okay, awesome. Like, let's go ahead, and why don't we offer you a complimentary training? Let's make sure that everything we've done hasn't gone to waste. Let's give you the assets. Let's get you set up, et cetera. So we set up that call. Things changed internally. She actually left the company instead. And so they were like, you know what, we'll renew with you guys until, we find something else that we're able to do in-house. I'm like, okay, great. We will continue being that quote unquote outsourced partner for you. But let's change year 2, right? Year 2 is not going to be the same as year 1. And they actually said, they were like, I think we did exactly what we needed to do with FMO Media year 1. We built our base. We were, our social platforms were consistent in posting. People can find us online now, all of those different aspects. The branding is consistent, everything. And they're part of a franchise, which you would think branding is consistent with a franchise, but it wasn't. Yeah. They had some templates and stuff, but it wasn't until we took over. And so then we came up with a strategy for year 2. And that's a part of, again, that partnership, that collaboration, growing with the client in the direction of their business goals. So that was really, really, that was one example. And it was super cool to hear that, yes, there's a return on your investment, but what does that continued partnership look like?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think it also comes back to the understanding too, that if everybody could do this, then everybody would be successful overnight. You wouldn't even need marketing. It would just be everybody gets awareness, right? But if everybody gets awareness, then nobody gets awareness. So that's why it's challenging. That's why it takes time. And when it comes to the technology and the mediums and the channels, the rules are always changing too, right? So you need people on your team. And I like to think of us as being on our client's team, not that outsourced company, but as your team, your marketing team that is able to strategize and stay cutting edge and up to date. And we're constantly training ourselves, but also training our clients too. We don't want to keep anything in the dark with regards to what we're doing for them, because they do need to be involved and they do need to be in the loop. So that's why I also think we're doing so much more than what you might consider to be outsourcing, or even I think there are some wonderful freelancers out there who are on Fiverr and Upwork and doing great work. They're a team of one, though. When you're working with us, you get all the benefits of all the minds and all the team leads, ads, web, social content, video, etc.
1000%. And the other thing too, right, is marketing is subjective. It's right. We have seen mistakes made by really big companies.
Oh, yes.
And watching how their marketing team handles it, it's real. And it all comes down to even like how someone chooses to do business. I mean, we could go hours, around this, but if you are, if you're a franchise, if you're in a franchise, a real estate franchise, a food franchise, whatever it is, there are outlines and guidelines that you have to follow. Yes. But ultimately, how you do business with people is how you're going to get your referrals. And then you need to make sure that that voice is then amplified online of how you do, because then you're just going to get clients that don't align with you anyway. So you might as well just be yourself.
Yeah.
And I mean, so I'm referring to, I don't remember which company it was, but I saw a screenshot. It was really funny. And it had a screenshot of a guy like sitting in a chair, like looking all sad and at his job. And it said, this is Kyle. He's having a bad day. He accidentally sent the wrong email out to you guys yesterday, blah, blah, blah. And now he's in trouble, something like that. And I thought that was hilarious along with the subject line. And I was like, wow, like that's a company I would be a fan of. I'd follow on Instagram. I'd follow, wherever to see what they're doing, not even knowing what their services are, just because they're real, they're human beings. Everyone, yes, we do tasks and we do things on a daily basis and we all have goals and dreams, but we're human beings doing business with each other, so it's really important to remember that. And I love when we have a new client and we're able to hear them, listen to them, take them through our onboarding process, our launch calls. That's a lot of discovery, a lot of diving into who they are, what they do, why they do it, where they want to go. And then being able to connect those dots for them on social media. I think it's so much fun.
It is fun.
Yeah.
And we could do, you could spend all day, just like we could spend all day talking. We could spend so much more time with our clients, getting to know them. And, you also want to speed up the process too, because you do want to get them results as fast as possible. I think that's one of the best things about our team, is that we all care so much about our clients' growth and understanding them and their needs. And it really does all boil down to, being real and authentic, because we're all people. But it's easy to forget that. And I think it's very easy to forget that in digital marketing, because we're all on screens. And I actually think that's why video is more important now, not just because we want to enjoy and consume video, but because it's people that are on camera and we're watching people and relating to them. Yeah. And hopefully the best marketing is storytelling, and the best marketing telling stories is the story in which I, as a consumer or a potential client, can see myself and see a better life, or a happier or easier time, or a solution to my problem, because you've told me a great story about how you're going to help me and you understand me. And we can't create that kind of content without understanding our clients and how they're going to help other people.
Yeah, 1000. I mean, it's going back to the original statements, the ROI and social media that no one talks about, right? It's like having all of these things. What do we do all day long? I mean, I was thinking about this the other day. I'm like, there's a lot of people that don't know what their parents did growing up, right? Like, like I remember going to a friend's house, and their house was huge and it was beautiful. And I went to a friend's house, and actually it was a couple of friends, and I'd look at there and I'd be like, what do your parents do? Like, I knew what my parents did. My dad was a waste disposal engineer, he calls it. He was a Department of Sanitation, New York. So he was a garbage man his whole life. And my mom worked for Verizon in customer service. And so I knew what they did. They even had bring your kids to work day, and I would go to work with them.
Did you get to ride in the garbage truck?
I have gotten to ride in a garbage truck before, yeah. And the salt too. I didn't get to do the salt or anything like that. I got to see it. I thought it was so cool as a kid, you know.
Yeah.
But I saw what he did, and I saw what my mom did, and so I understood kind of like what they did a little bit. And my parents would bring work home, not in a bad way. They would just talk about what they did and some of what their goals were, and what they were trying to accomplish next. That's just how I grew up. But there's a lot of people that their parents don't bring some of that home. Anyway, so I would go to like certain friends' houses, and I'd be like, what do your parents do? Like, you have a house like this big, or how do you, have a pool? Like, how can someone afford, like, I would equate someone having a pool with like being a millionaire, And so I'd be curious, and I would just ask questions. And a lot of people are like, I don't know, my dad's in business. And sometimes I'd hear, oh, they're in marketing. They're in business. They're in marketing. What does that even mean? Like, there's so many things that could go that way. So it was very general. And so circling back to my point, which is a lot of us didn't know what our parents did growing up. We don't know what people actually do at their jobs sometimes.
It's true.
And asking that question could take someone an entire week to explain. Because there's always something else to do, whether you are in marketing or you are in I was telling you the other day, I've worked an office job. I've worked a lot of office jobs. I was a sales administrative assistant for a long time. But there's certain qualities that you take with you from each job, and there's certain experiences that you take with you from each job to get better for the next one, or for your passion, or for whatever you end up wanting to do. Which also goes back to our point from last week, which is that whole work-life balance. Like, life is work, work is life. You are going through this journey of life and becoming greater with different experiences that you take from different places. So you take what you can and then leave what you can,
Yeah.
But
it all layers in. I would hope that people pull from their personal experiences. I mean, I hope I myself pull from personal experiences to elevate the work I do, and vice versa. My work experience can help elevate my personal life, and how I manage relationships with people outside of work and in work. I would want that consistency as well. What I value in communication, and what I value in trust and dependability. I hope that anybody would feel that way. It's hard though, right? It's the ebb and the flow of it, and figuring out your priorities, I think, is challenging for folks, but that's also life too, right?
That is, it's all, life is challenging.
Life is life, yeah. But like the idea that that I take issue with, or challenge with, the idea of work-life balance, is that you're going to meet perfection if you can achieve a work-life balance, right? Because balance is perfection, an even 50-50 split. And we know that that's not possible. We're not perfect. Life certainly isn't perfect. We were talking in our marketing team meeting on Wednesday about your sphere of influence from 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And you have your sphere of influence, and then you have the outside that you can't control. and what happens to you. So of course life is never going to be perfect, and you can't control, so that you can't have that perfect 50-50 split. But what can you control about yourself, your attitude, and your approach to life and what's happening to you? And I think, it's the same thing of sort of like the first step to admitting you have a problem is, or, fixing it is admitting that you have a problem, right? You have to admit that life isn't perfect. And then it's a lot easier because you can expect the unexpected, and you can take those challenges and I think come out a lot stronger for it. Doesn't mean that, there's not going to be challenges that are going to be tragic and heartbreaking, and that joy along the way should be, oh, I know it's coming, so I'm not going to be surprised and happy about it. We're going to go through that roller coaster of emotion, right? But if you understand that life is not going to be perfect, then it actually becomes easier.
Yeah. I mean, we went deep, but it's true. And it goes back to the whole, we're all just human beings with our own goals, hopes, dreams, ambitions, and we need to work together and respect each other's own hopes, dreams, ambitions. And it's just kind of cool when you find people that, align with some of those hopes, or even people that maybe don't have their own hopes, dreams, ambitions just yet. We have a lot of young people on our team, and both age-wise and sometimes experience-wise, right? In terms of what we do and how we do it. And I remember, not knowing exactly what I wanted, having some sort of idea of like maybe how I wanted to live, but not really knowing what I wanted to do necessarily. Maybe from like 18 to 20 something, or even younger. I mean, my first dream and ambition was to become a singer, just like Britney Spears. That's the earliest one I can remember. And multiple people told me there was no hope. So, so that passed quickly. But then, then I actually wanted to be a teacher, because I just loved the idea of teaching, and I feel like I'm able to do that now. Like I actually came back like full circle, and I'm still able to do that. But all of those different, things, leading back to, that youth aspect, and that I feel like we always have to be learning. I feel like we always have to stay young in that aspect, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You can't, here's another one. It's what you learn after you know it all that counts, right?
Yeah.
Did I say that to you, or I don't remember who I
That's
said
a few of us the other day. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, it's all encompassed into, hey, like there are some, and what I was talking about before with the youth, it doesn't matter how old you are. But when I was that age, I definitely clung onto other people's goals, like other teams' goals, like the greater goal. Hey, what are we all working towards? I can go on to that. I can be a part of that. And so becoming a part of different things that are maybe in the direction, maybe you don't know what you want to do just yet, or who you want to be, or maybe you don't know your life's purpose just yet. But if you're clinging on to something and you're going in a positive direction with an awesome group of people, it's like, why not hop on the bandwagon? Like, what was it? What was that quote parents always said? Like, oh, if your friends are all jumping off a bridge, like, would you jump off too? And my answer was always like, well, is it fun? Like, how tall is the bridge? Is it like a really nice, body of water? Like, let's go, let's all do this together. How many people are going to be there? So I think that, again, it's really cool to just be able to take what you need from your different life experiences, leave what you don't. You collect those all, and then you elevate, your work presence, your life presence, your relationships. Like, should always be looking to improve, always.
Yeah, I would hope so, because I'd hope that people would want to get the max out of life.
Yeah.
Absolute max.
Yeah.
Every single day. And that's why social media can be a downfall too, because you can forget that you're actually communicating with people online and forget to sometimes communicate with people offline, and it can all feel very meta, superficial sometimes, right? So that's why it's the ebb and the flow. You have to know where to commit your priorities, and bringing it back to our clients and what they're hoping to achieve. I like to think about it, the digital space, the arena is, building your brand and your presence there so that you can have a connection with people in person. I would hope that that would be the goal, right? To attract people in the digital arena so that you can make greater connections with them in person and forge relationships.
Oh, yeah, like that brings a whole other, not a whole other topic, I guess. Like it kind of brings the word transparency to me, right? So for example, H, Jamie, myself, Christian, you, Rebecca, right? We all have our own social media.
Yeah.
And we all have our own Instagrams, our own Facebook, and we work in digital marketing where we're very involved with our clients and all that. And I've never made my profile private. It's been a long time since I've done that. I don't think I've done it in the FMO presence because, I am who I am. And I think that people deserve to see who I am.
Yeah.
And, I'm looking to see constantly what's working anyway. Right. And so if I want to keep something really private, then I won't post it, that's in general. So I am not going to be one way with my friends and one way with the clients that I associate with, or, or with our team members. Like, it's just, I am who I am. You get to know who I am. You either like me or you don't. And this is what we do, Yeah. And I think that transparency, that realness, that rawness is so important in this day and age, so that it keeps those things aligned, so that you don't get that separation of like, oh, well, these are my, like, these are my online friends. And then these are
my like, online persona versus my.
Yeah. You're one person.
I know we have to wrap soon, but I was told a long time ago now, at this point, almost a decade ago, I think I was in grad school and I was working in marketing department, and my boss and mentor, she was like, you're really not a great digital marketer of yourself. You need to get better at that. It was the honest truth, because being in theater and then even eventually in fitness as well, I was not the best digital marketer of myself at all, because I spent a lot of time doing, and I don't really like to talk about what I'm doing. I'd rather just get it done, do it, let's go. And I think that's hard for a lot of our clients, which is why they need us. Yeah. Right. But I've learned over time, and I'm still not the best digital marketer of myself. Really, I like to think of it like storytelling, and I use social media to connect with my friends and consume, see what's happening, test things out, right? Probably need to do more testing out myself and spend more time doing that. But I think our clients probably need us in that way too, because they are busy doing, and they don't have the time to talk about it. And that's where we come in, and we help tell the story of all the great things that they're doing and how they're helping other people and how those people can benefit from them too. But yeah, I think it does come down to being transparent, because I think back to some stories I've heard of other folks in the industry or related industries. And one of them I heard from a videographer friend and social media guru. He was telling me about a client he had who, big social media influencer online. And if I probably said the name, everybody would maybe have heard of them. And they look like they live in a mansion, and that they're vastly wealthy, and they wear all these great clothes. And the reality is that they're living in an apartment, and they share a bed with a friend. It's not even a romantic relationship. They share a bed with a friend, and they borrow all the clothes, and then they return them back. And, crazy story. I'm not saying that's all influencers or everybody online, but I use it as an extreme example that, it's very easy to put off a persona in the digital space that is not your own. and people aren't going to be able to connect with you in real life because they're going to see through that very quickly. And that's why when we are getting to know our clients and we want to learn about them, we're not asking questions because we don't know what we're doing in marketing and we don't have that expertise. We're asking questions so we can get deeper to understanding them and helping them build those relationships authentically through their content.
Authentically. I love it. I'm not going to say anything else because I think you put a little bow tie on there. You wrapped it up very nicely. Yeah, we could go on for hours and hours, but that right there, the authenticity of social media, yourself, how you're going to be able to market yourself, and how FMO can help you do it, of course.
Yeah.
All of it. I'm here for all of it.
All of the things. Well, thanks for plugging in, guys. Mel and Beck. We'll catch you next time.